Welcome back. For today's video, you'll need your worry diary, so make sure you have it in front of you. Take a look at your worry diary from the last week. I'll ask you a similar question to last week. What were your themes? Are there more hypothetical or current problems? Were some of your worries a little bit of both? You started at the bottom of the ladder with a problem, but then climbed into a hypothetical world? And what did you notice about your anxiety ratings? Are they higher or lower for hypothetical or current problems? And are there particular areas that create more anxiety? Like worries about your children or work perhaps? Take a moment to pause and write down some of these themes now. Today, we're going to move on to talk about worry outcomes. I wonder when you look at your diary from the last week, whether any of the current problems you were worried about have now passed or were resolved. For example, you might have been apprehensive about delivering a work presentation. The current problem may have been putting in the work and practicing. That presentation might now be over. You might have had your feedback. And what was the outcome? Was it what you were worried about? Or maybe you were nervous about an upcoming social event that's now over, or the outcome of a job application. We can refer to this as our worry outcomes. Often our worry outcomes aren't as bad as our minds tell us. By keeping note of these outcomes, we can start to teach our minds to be less catastrophic. We begin to learn that our worries are out of proportion and inaccurate. This is another helpful way to process your concerns and to start challenging your relationship with worry. If this is the case, spend a moment now noting down any of the outcomes of any worries that might have now passed. You could either write this down in your worry diary or on a separate sheet. Next, I want you to move on to compartmentalizing your worry. By this, I mean boxing it off into a specific time every day that is dedicated to processing your concerns. I want you to continue your worry diary and your categorising into hypothetical and current problems and noting down any worry outcomes. But now when your worry arises and you've made all your notes, permit yourself to set this concern aside, promising to return to this during your designated reflection worry time. The worry time technique is not about stopping worrying, but about reducing the amount of time you spend worrying about things outside of your control. Your worry time is an allotted time during the day in which you permit yourself to worry. I'd advise you take a 15-minute period, take yourself to a quiet area and spend 15 minutes just indulging in the concerns. Worry your heart out. Think about all the worst case scenarios. Your worry time should happen at the same time every day. Different times work for different people, but it's a good idea to have it late enough in the day that you'll actually have things to worry about, but early enough that you have time to pick your mood back up and relax before bed. 6 or 7 p.m. tends to work for most people in my experience, because cooking and eating dinner can also be an effective way to stop worrying at the end of your worry time. Make a note now. What time are you going to commit to every day for 15 minutes? Is there anything that will get in the way of this that you can problem solve now? This is a commitment and often an exercise you will not want to do. But firstly, consider thinking of it like this. When you're training a muscle at the gym, it might feel really hard at first, but if you practice and practice and you're strict with your routine, you'll find it works and you'll become stronger. So this is the same. You keep committing to this, keep practicing, postponing your worry into worry time, leaving you to enjoy your day or night worry-free. Or consider it like this. You're introducing 15 minutes of worry time, but how much worry-free time might you gain from doing this consistently? You're training your mind to compartmentalize worries, leaving you with a lovely worry-free day in which you notice your worries, write them down, and tell them that you'll see them later during your worry time. This will allow you to be more present, it will let you enjoy the moment, and it will allow you to be more spontaneous and clear-headed to problem solve. This is a tough one that takes dedication and practice. So this week, your homework is to continue worry diary, include any worry outcomes, and start your worry time. Before we finish, take a few seconds to write down your main takeaway messages from today's session, and I'll see you next week.